Okay, we've cool. I'm sure more folks will join. Let me share my screen, get us kicked off, and get you guys the information that you're looking for. All right, thanks as always for joining our SaaStr sponsor weekly webinar insider series. I'm Amelia, I'm the SVP and GM here, and I'm joined by Clayton.
Hey.
He's on our sponsor success team. For those who are used to the Amelia Clayton branch, Brian cannot make this one, so he sends his regards. We do these every Wednesday, 10 p.m. You can sign up for the series. We do send the recording and the recap later today. So we've got that all queued up to send as soon as we've got the recording. So if you've missed it, that'll be available later today. Lead scanners. So we wanted to chat about this just for a few minutes because I know we've been proactively asking many of you who you want the main point of contact to be on your lead scanners. And thus some folks were like, yes, lead scanners, tell me more, please. So we figured we'd give you guys an overview of lead scanners, how they work, how they function, what we're doing. So this year is a little bit different. If you are a repeat or past returning sponsor of SaaStr, we actually have two methods this year. So method number one, we're doing this system that we like to call tap towers. So this is new. This is something we've worked on with our teams to make sure that you can collect leads in a more safe and efficient way at your booth, so that you're not like in people's personal bubbles if they don't want you to be and standing right in front of them to scan their badges. So we have two methods of doing this. The first one are these tap towers. They look a little bit like this. They look a little different just depending on your level of booth, which we'll get to in a second, but they basically look like this. So they're freestanding tap towers, as we affectionately call them. Basically, an attendee will walk up to this housed tablet. They'll tap their badge to the tap tower, hence that's why we call it a tap tower. You tap your badge to the tablet. It is a awesome no contact way to collect your leads. So if I'm Amelia, I'm walking up to Clayton's booth, I just tap into his booth. That lead gets pushed to you automatically. Nothing further for you to do. You don't have to rescan them. It's a really great way so that, if some attendees don't want you in their bubble, they can just tap into, they'll be tapping into everything. So they can tap into your booth, they'll tap into stages and sessions. So yeah, we have a whole tap system that, we tell all attendees about once they register and pick up their badge, how to tap into places. It's kind of like if you ever gone to like a really big music festival, they do this a lot with wristbands. We're just doing the same thing, but on the badges that we have. So super similar functionality. If you've ever been to like a large music festival, it works the same way where you don't have to have somebody come up to you and scan you. So the tap towers are really great, just as part of our overall health and safety that we're doing for this year. Depending on your sponsorship size, that does determine how many tap towers you get. So everybody has at least one. So if you're a bronze, gold, super gold, platinum, you all get one tap tower at your booth. Just depending on that level determines if it's freestanding or if it's on the counter that you guys have. So if you have a counter, the tap tower goes on it, facing outward so that attendees can walk up and tap in, as we say. If you're a diamond or unicorn, you get slightly more because you've got a bigger footprint. So there's multiple entrances to cover. So this is a new thing we're doing. We think it'll be a good way to, many people, again, if you've been to like large concerts, are kind of used to this kind of things of tapping in. You don't have to like physically scan each person that comes to your booth, just for an overall health and safety and really comfortability level. So those are tap towers. And if you guys have questions, drop them in the chat or the Q&A. Happy to answer any questions. We're doing two methods. So in addition to the tap towers, this is not like an either or situation. You're still going to be able to scan people physically at your booth using the Lead Booster app. So I'll go through that now. We just wanted to make sure that most people will come in and tap into your booth. Just if you have a conversation with them or they missed the tap tower, you're still able to physically scan them. So and you do not have to get right up in their face. Just as I feel like most people do, or they're like, "Hi, can I scan your badge?" And then they physically grab the other person's badge and scan it. In previous years, I'm like, you don't have to. You literally just point your camera at the QR code, and it will scan. It's just not, you don't have to get that close to the person. So keep that in mind.
We had a good question come in. Will booth staff be able to see a confirmation that attendees scanned and add notes during the event? Do we know that?
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll get to that now. So either in either method of how people scan in, right? So if they tap in or if you physically scan them, any lead you get at your booth syncs in real time to what we call the lead booster portal. So if I'm Amelia, I've tapped in, or if I'm Amelia, I skipped the tap tower, but Clayton scans me. In either case, they're going to go to your portal in real time. So you'll see it takes like a few seconds to travel through the air. So just, give it like 60 seconds. Amelia will show up in Clayton's lead booster portal. You can add notes, right, to your heart's content. So yeah, that's a great question. It does sync in real time. So this is something we're doing with our teams so that everybody has a tap tower. Everybody has at least one license that you can use across multiple devices. So again, this is in addition to what we're doing to the tap towers. So the Lead Booster app is a license. So this is something that you can use across an unlimited number of devices. So if I'm Amelia, I'm the main POC and I'm the one that has the license for Lead Booster. I can give my login information to Clayton and he can also download it on his phone and he can also scan people and then all the leads will go to the same portal. So that's how we keep it easy so that you can see all your leads in one place. The Lead Booster app is on like all, it works on Apple, Android, whatever you got. So it does not need to be on Wi-Fi. It can use like your cell service. Again, it does sync in real time. And we on our end, work with our team to activate and sync your native point of contact to both your towers and all your devices. So that all being said, this is why we do need to know who your main point of contact is, of who should be the one whose name should be on the license, right? And then just make a password that you'll all know, but maybe isn't too easy to guess. So just let us know who it should be, just first name, last name, email address, send it over to Clayton and his team at Sponsor Success at SaaStr Inc. Just say, hey, we're the ramp team and Ashley's going to be our point of contact for the lead booster. We'll be like, great, we'll set her up in the portal. And then when it's time, we'll send you an invite to download the app. It's not out yet. Like you can't, I guess you could go scam somebody at the mall if you wanted to, but this is really going to come out closer to show where you'll download this and be able to scan attendees. This is really just forward facing so that as we're asking you guys for the main point of contact, you know what we're doing with this information and why we need it. If you do need additional licenses, which would be a weird one-off case, you can just let Sponsor Success know. It's really just if you want to know, like, okay, Amelia's leads are going to Amelia, Clayton's leads are going directly to Clayton. That's really the only instance you would need it. But as we pointed out in the notes section, you could say like Clayton scanned this person or this AE talked to this guy. He's already scheduled a follow-up meeting. So really just personal preference there. There's a question here. How are the leads delivered in the Tap Tower app? So whether you scan them in the Tap Tower or you physically scan them using the Lead Booster app, they're sent to what we call the Lead Booster portal. This is a web page that you'll log into, and then you can download them as a CSV. So they'll sync in real time. You can download them. The information that you do get with them as like a bare minimum is like the leads, first name, last name, company, email, title, and country. That's like the bare minimum. Some people have more fields. So if you get people that's like super enriched, it's because they filled out all the fields. So that's what's included. And yeah, there is a note section there that you guys have a blank space where you can just say, Clayton scanned this person, somebody else scanned this person, or this one was a hot lead, or this one, or a customer came by the booth, like, so great to see him. So yeah, you've got a blank section there for notes. Obviously you can download it and then sync it to your CRM or your marketing automation platform from there. There's a question of how much is an additional license? It's $160 for all 3 days for a license. So again, if you need an extra license, just let Sponsor Success know. And we'll add to this slide the information that's included in the delivery report because it's first name, last name. I know you guys are asking, they're like, what? Say it again. I'm like, okay, it's first name, last name, company, title, country, email. So that's the information you get. Again, some people will have more fields. That's the minimum amount of information you'll get from folks. So we'll add this to the slide too, so you guys see it in the follow-up. Okay.
Very good. So I'll kind of jump in here with a lot of reminders and key details and follow-ups. So for most people right now, we're still in this phase of registering your team. The deadline we're really looking at and hoping to have everybody registered by is going to be September 1st, September 1st, September 1st. Today is Wednesday, August 18th. So that's coming up pretty quickly. A lot of the emails I'm getting right now will be somebody will click on a link, but then they won't see that part at the top that says sponsor all access pass, where it says free. If you look at that area that's kind of highlighted light blue. So that's only going to appear if and only if you put in your custom promo registration code of your company name plus full passes. A lot of people I've seen have been clicking the link, but maybe not adding in their custom promo code. Please don't forget that important tip by September 1st to register your team for. If you have a speaker, they will still register in the same way, getting that same sponsor all access pass. And that all access pass is going to be different than if you have a customer or friend coming, because this will get that person access to different sponsor exclusive areas and early kind of like load in and registration times. And that's why it's really important for us to think of those as mutually separate, different tickets.
Awesome. And we will, just so everybody knows, we do send these slides out in today's follow-up email, so you guys will get them there. We'll drop them into the chat too.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. And so with this, again, September 1st, as you are registering, it would be great if ahead of time you could upload your proof of vaccine record. But if you don't, let's say you're one person and you're registering a team of 10 and you don't have, 10 people's different vaccine cards, there's going to be a link here at the bottom, which again, we'll send out today, where then that way you can kind of go back into the middle of the registration process and upload just that vaccine card. And that's going to be extremely important if you want to reduce the wait time during registration and get into SaaStr faster.
Ooh, get into SaaStr faster. Look at him
SaaStr
go.
faster. Yeah.
Yes. Also, as sponsors, if you don't register by the September 1st and or if you do and you forgot to upload your vaccine cards, you will definitely get some reminders from us. So we will let you know or if you did upload them and you're like, what happens now? Like you'll get some Brian Brownie points, and we will really be hounding people who didn't follow these steps.
And so Annie asked a good question. Is there a way to check and see who registered with our code? Yeah, Annie, the best way to get that information, just email me personally at clayton@sastrinc.com or sponsorsuccess@sastrinc.com. And I can send you a screenshot and let you know who has versus hasn't used your specific code.
Yeah, there's there's a couple questions here. Who has access to the info you upload with regards to vaccine? Great question. This goes directly to our health and safety team. SaaStr does not check it. That's why we need them by the first for sponsors. We have a third-party health and safety team that does this in a very HIPAA compliant way. So this is why we need them by the first for sponsors, which is sooner than the attendee deadline. It's because we want to make sure, again, to Clayton's point, you guys can get in fast. We're going to be very proactive about having, working with them, that they check all the vaccines, they tell us whoever's missing, so that we can work with you guys to make sure that when you show up on site, this is not something you have to remember to bring with you. I think it's a good idea. I know there's a question here, should you also bring them on site? Definitely take photo, like if your team's fine with it, right? Don't do anything that they're not comfortable with. Like if they're okay with you having a copy of their Vax card, I think it's a good idea just to put them all on your phone or in a folder, like bring the files with it, just a digital copy. You don't have to bring the physical card. Because I know people are worried about losing theirs. I understand, like I lose mine. Oh, anyway, personal props. So yeah, you don't need to bring them if you pre-upload them. We'll let you know, like if something goes down, but yeah, they're keeping records of it. They have backups of it so that they can look it up. So yeah, great questions on the Vax cards, as the kids say these days.
With discount codes, this is the other part of this. So on that same link where you register your team, there is a different, again, mutually exclusive, separate code, but instead of company name full passes, this time it is company name 20, as in 20% off. So then, for example, for SaaStr, it would be SaaStr full passes to get our sponsor all access pass. And if you're inviting a friend, family member, colleague, then they would be using the coupon code SaaStr20 or your company name 20, which gets them 20% off one of two different types of tickets, the startup and founder exec ticket or the big co exec ticket.
Yeah, It does not work on team packs because team packs are obviously already discounted. So that's why, in case y'all want to know. Okay, health and safety. I'll touch on this. I know we went over a lot of this last week, but for those who missed it, we're gonna hammer this into you guys so that you all know the four things you gotta know before you come to SaaStr Annual. So we just touched on it on registration for vaccines. As many of you know, as a lot of you, as you've been registering, have been uploading them, so that's awesome. Keep doing so. I know there's been a few one-off questions like, hey, we have a member of our team who's getting like, they'll be fully vaccinated by annual, but not by September 1st. Can we register them now, upload later? Yes, just let us know so that like they should bring, their proof on site. Everybody else should get uploaded. So that's the only thing there. No exceptions, just they should bring theirs on site if they're going to be fully vaccinated between September 1st and September 12th. Rapid testing, we are requiring a proof of negative COVID test within 72 hours of your first entrance. So a lot of these, we linked them out last week. They're linked in here again. If you guys need them, you can get a lot of these. They're very readily available. I just saw some at CVS yesterday. They're actually nice because you can self-administer them. They're actually very accurate too. This is the ones we linked you guys as the preferred one from our health and safety vendor. So it's the Abbott ones that you guys see everywhere. Just within your 72 hours of entrance. This is just a good rule of thumb too. Like if you're getting on an airplane, if you're traveling to the Bay Area, probably good to get tested anywho. So then just bring your test with you and show us that it was negative. There will be daily passive temperature scanning. So most of it's passive, some of it's like the thermal guns that you guys have seen at like, again, concerts or if you've been to any ball games lately. So this is daily. So just know that even as a sponsor, you still do have to get temperature checked each day. There is an express line. So there's 3 points of registration at SaaStr Annual, either one that you go to. There is an express line if you already have your badge, because they're just going to temperature check you each day and check your ID. So very important that you have some sort of ID with you, either, your passport card, most people it's a driver's license. So bring your ID with you and bring your badge so that they can temperature scan you and let you in. Again, that process takes like 30 seconds. So that line will move fairly quickly. And you don't have to wait in the line for the testing or vaccine checks. You just have to do that once. So there will be a line just for badge holders. That'll be the one you guys go into as a sponsor. One thing, hold on, I'm just checking questions on this one. Okay, I'll answer some questions here too. Let me chat about masks and then I'll answer the questions on health and safety. So that's temperature scanning masks. So I think as many of you know, in the Bay Area, as of July, masks are required indoors. Again, most of SaaStr Annual is outside. So like the times you'll have to put a mask on are few and far between. And if you don't want to go inside, you don't have to. Well, you to go to the bathroom, but other than that, you don't have to go inside unless you want to. So really, it's just at any of our indoor spaces, which are super limited. So it's for us, it's really just the co-working space and then the sponsor lounge. Both of those places, though, have open garage, what we call garage doors, so lots of open airflow. But you will have to wear a mask when you're not actively eating or drinking in there. And if you forget your mask, there will be masks. There will literally be like mask people like giving you masks before you walk inside one of those two spaces. So, or if you just want to wear your mask, obviously you're more than welcome to do so. All right, are we offering testing on site? We are offering testing at our satellite registration areas. I'm gonna really ham this in though for sponsors. You guys should really plan on getting tested before you come, because there is no express line for sponsors and testing. There's not like, hey, I'm a sponsor, I really need to get to my booth because it's about to open in 10 minutes. It does not, they will not favor you. There's just one line for testing. And as many of you know, a COVID test takes 15 minutes. So there is no act of God I could enact to speed up a 15-minute COVID test. So you'll probably plan on waiting actually like half an hour or more to get tested on site. So again, if you don't mind waiting, just keep in mind other people probably have that mindset too of like, oh, I'll just get tested, I don't mind waiting. Okay, well, if you're a sponsor, again, there's no express line for sponsors for testing. There is satellite testing that opens on Sunday. So if you're coming beforehand, that's an easy way to get tested before you get to your booth. But no, just make this clear. There's no express line for testing for sponsors, and the tests do take 15 minutes. So if you factor in 15 minutes, plus you've got to wait in line to get your test, that's about half an hour already. So half an hour is a fairly big time commitment to be away from your booth. So highly reco you guys do your testing before you get here. Also, if you're getting on a plane, I think most airlines like say they require it, but don't check it. But technically you're supposed to like get tested anywho. So it's obvious, it's just a really good rule of thumb. Like if you are traveling to get tested anyhow. So that is that answer. Hold on, I'm clicking a link that someone sent here. Is this the kind of test we're talking about? Yes, let me resume my sharing. So this is a good one. So yeah, Lisa, this is a great one that you guys can get over the counter. Yeah, this Abbott one is one that our health and safety vendor uses when they do one-off testing too. This is like a 2-pack you guys can get. So again, you can like test to your heart's content. But that's a good one to use. Let me go back to our presentation here. Let me grab the next question. Sorry, hold on.
Amelia, I would just like to add that it's important to do your best to get the test so you can get into SaaStr faster.
Clayton's on it today. That's right.
Do your best to get the test, get into SaaStr faster.
I like it. So yeah, that's a good one. And that link that Lisa just sent, we'll send it to everyone. It's in this, we did link it in this presentation too. So we'll send it in our Clayton's a good reminder. We should send in the recap email so folks have it. And yeah, you can ship it to your team members. It's fairly easy. There's 2. So if you ship, each team member 2, they can take one when they get there or when they're getting on the plane. There's a question from Katie. You saw that LA is requiring masks outdoors for events. That's not the case yet for San Mateo County. LA, and for those who don't know California geographics, LA is actually far from Northern California. That is not the case yet. If it is required for outdoor events, we will keep you guys posted. Just to bring your mask. To that point, though, again, couldn't stress this more that 98% of SaaStr annuals outdoors. So sponsored booths are also outside. So I know, Sarah, there's a question, are the sponsor booths inside so that your booth staff has to wear masks? They're actually outside. So the entire sponsor hall, expo hall is outside. It's tented. So the tents have open sides, if you will. They're not like enclosed tents because that defeats the purpose. But they are outside. So you guys don't have to wear your masks when you're under the tent because it's outside technically. Georgianne, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Could you please provide a list of peak break and meal times? I do think that's in our reminders. So we will get to that. That's a great question. Lunch primarily each day is 11:30 to 1:30. So that's the peak meal time there, and everybody breaks for lunch. So that is also, lunch is also one of the most trafficked times at the sponsor hall. So just keep that in mind. Cool, we went through this. I think, again, it's supposed to be, we're outdoors, we're doing distancing. There's literally a sanitizer everywhere.
Yeah, can we go back 2 slides? This kind of hits on May's point because we have about 3 or 4 things come in. So Healy, yeah, that's a great idea. She says, as a tip, she's ordering branded paperweights to keep any handouts from blowing away. Given that
it's a good one.
Yeah, that's smart. I like that a lot. I mean, obviously we're going to have the tents too, but that's a nice addition. May asks, based on Delta, is there a chance the event gets postponed? And this slide I think hits at this really well. SaaStr Annual this year is arguably one of the safest places in America to be, period. And it's because of these 3 things: verifying vaccines, proving that someone's COVID negative 72 hours before their first entrance, and also those passive daily temperature checks. So at the end of the day, at this point, we are full steam ahead. Everyone is still running full court press into SaaStr Annual 2021 this year. And we're going forward as if everything is going to be just fine and peachy here, in late September weather in San Mateo. So we're going forward, and it's going to arguably be the safest place in America you can be at this time.
Yes, it is one of the safest places. I think for context, right, for those not from the Bay Area, there are other consumer events happening, right? So if you think about the audience size of SaaStr, yes, it is a lot of people. However, the Giants are playing. They just played a sold out game, I think 2 nights ago, with 50,000 people, and vaccines were not required. So if you think about, yes, it's outside, 50,000 people is a lot. The Warriors are, coming back soon. The 49ers are coming back, I think, this Sunday. So my sports schedules are a little off in life. But the 49ers are, which are literally down the street from San Mateo County Event Center, coming back and playing this weekend with, like, I think 70,000 people not vaccinated, same county. So it's, again, there are other events happening in the Bay Area in this time frame that are doing not as many precautions as SaaStr. So considering that those are allowed to be held, we don't have a concern that SaaStr would be canceled or postponed. We also do talk to the county. Literally, I talk to the county every Monday every Monday at 9. I chat with them. They will let me know if anything does change, but for the most part, since we're doing above and beyond what the county does mandate, and that we do have other sporting events happening in both San Mateo and San Francisco county propers, that it's not going to be at risk. So they've not flagged this to me as a risk issue. So cool, good questions there. I think we nailed them. Okay, great. Cool. Moving on from health and safety. Oops, sorry, I clicked that. Oopsies. No, take me back to present. Sorry, Google Slides, y'all. All right, promo. On to funner things.
Yeah, and to answer Caitlin's question, yes, each booth is its own separate tent. That's correct. Yeah, promotions. Some people are asking, what they can do to help get their name out there and talk about SaaStr and SaaStr Annual. And so one of the things that we have are your sponsors' social and promotion cards. I'm starting to see these on LinkedIn every single day, and I love logging on and seeing these things. So one of the ways you can get access to that is either A, just email myself at sponsorsuccess@saastrinc.com, or B, just come straight onto here and then find your sponsorship level and then pull out your card. If you are with a company that recently had an updated logo, I was kind of pestering people for logos for a while. If you need something updated and we have an older one on file for you, let me know and we can make that change in our end pretty quickly, regardless of your sponsorship level here. But these sponsor social cards are a great way to say, your strength at SaaStr, and then also say that, hey, that you're going to be there and you're going to be part of, where the cloud meets.
Yeah, a couple questions that came in about registration, and then just one thing I wanted to clarify on the booth tenting. So each booth is under a tent. Just depending on your sponsorship level will determine if you have neighbors. So some of our bigger sponsors get their own individualized tent. So most of our other sponsors have either one neighbor or you've got 2 neighbors, if like you're a bronze or a gold, but there are sections of tents. So this is why when you look at our sponsor hall floor plan, a lot of the end caps went first because people like to be on the sides. But yeah, everything is under a tent, but it's not one giant big top. It's like sections. So when you look at our floor plan, everything that's a row of booths is a row of what we call like festival tents. They kind of look like the ones that are at like Coachella. When you're registering, there's a question of like, do booth staff get access to the big party and wrap party? So all the sponsor passes, so the ones that you guys are registering for, which are those sponsor all access passes, they do get access to the big party and the wrap party. If you have a legacy sponsorship that had what we used to call booth passes, we upgraded those all to full, just sponsor all access passes. So yes, sponsor all access sponsor all access passes. It's hard to say fast. Get access to the whole event, all the happy hours, the big party, and the wrap party. Yes, so access to all of that. Let me see if there's another. What's the shipping address for swag? Okay, that's in our reminders. So anything you want to touch on here, Clayton?
No, I love seeing these things on LinkedIn and Facebook and social media. So grab your sponsor social card, put it up, and let's get in this final big month here.
Awesome, cool. All right, some reminders.
Yeah, other reminders we have coming up. This is part of like the big schedule for the big push here. So with this, the sponsor load-in is really happening as early as Sunday from 11 to 5 if you're in one of our bigger booths and want some more time to kind of set up. If you're in a bronze or a gold, again, everything's really turnkey. You could come as late as Monday morning and then sign, come on in, bring in your laptop, your computer, your dongle, be plug in, turnkey, and ready to go here. So the sponsored hall will be open from 10:30 to 6:30 on day one. It'll be open from 9 to 6 on day two, and then open from 9 to 8:30 on day three. So if you need a screenshot or this PDF, this is something that will be coming out here just later today.
Cool. Yeah, what are because I know we're at the half-hour mark, and I know we've gotten some good questions so far. So guys, keep asking away. We will answer them. In the meantime, Clayton, while people get their questions in, what are the top things that people should know this week?
Yeah, here are the key things. And as I started drafting that email that's going out here later this afternoon, 39 days away. Sounds crazy to say. And with that, here are the big things. Lead scanners. Again, there's going to be two methods. The first part is going to be that tap tower. And the second part is going to be after you email sponsorsuccess@SaaStrinc.com with your name and the email of your main POC for your scanner login. Please get that to us ASAP. Health and safety, three big things. Vaccine verified, proof of negative COVID test 72 hours prior to your first entry, and then also the daily temperature checks. Registration and discount codes. Don't forget to use your unique custom code. If you don't know it, if something's not working, just email me personally at clayton@SaaStrinc.com or sponsorsuccess@SaaStrinc.com. And then we'll take all the guesswork out of it for you, and I'll send you the direct specific link you need. Let's just try and make things as easy as possible. Other than that, the sponsor social cards, which we just talked about, and then hotels. I've heard that, the Crown Plaza might still have some options available. There are other options available nearby. I've heard the Crown Plaza, where there's going to be a large SaaStr community there due to our block of rooms, is maybe about 20% cheaper than some other comparables in the area. And there is a very specific link you can use on this slide, which then will again go out later today if you haven't had it yet. And then the sponsor hall floor map, last updated last week, is going through its final revisions right now. And we should have that to you here by the week's end, because there's about maybe 15 or 16 sponsors that are just finalizing their last spots here on the sponsor hall floor map. If you want to know what spot, like let's say you're in this group 7, this final part that hasn't seen your name on the map yet, just send me an email. I can let you know where you stand prior to that final map coming out here by the end of the week.
All right, awesome. So we've got a few good questions here. So the first one's more for you, Clayton, on shipping. What's the address? What's the deadline? How does it get there?
Yeah, sure. So there's really two options for shipping, and this is broken up into the next two slides. Options 1, you may ship this collateral and giveaways to the Freeman warehouse. And then this can happen from, August 17th to September 14th, which
from yesterday. So starting now, basically.
So starting now. So the time is now, right?
The time is now.
Yeah, the time is now. Getting to SaaStr faster. Time is now. A lot of this is going to be coming up here pretty quickly. So this is option 1. You can ship it straight to the Freeman warehouse starting yesterday.
Yep. Option 2.
Option 2, you can ship it directly to SaaStr Annual, and then Freeman will get those shipments at the exhibit facility starting at 11 a.m. on Sunday, September 26th. So you have two options, places that it could go.
Yeah, and this is, again, like if you are bringing more than what you feel like you can carry or fits within your booth, these are good shipping options. There is a nominal fee. It really depends on how much you're shipping. So I can't give you a ballpark of what it is, because I don't know how many boxes you guys are sending. But you could definitely reach out to Sponsors of Success if you are shipping things, and our Freeman team can help you with pricing, material handling, and all that. So just let them know if you are shipping something. Cool, that's shipping. Yeah, sorry. Yes, Sarah, good flag. I did miss this question earlier in the chat. Is booth power left on overnight? So the entire sponsor hall, let me flip to the right slide here. Hold on. Cool, my screen share's stuck, guys. All right, so the entire sponsor hall does have continuous power. We are like our teams though are going to go around like overnight because we have overnight security since everything's outside. We will be, you know, if you guys left a TV on, they'll go and turn it off. Like technically the power is on, but we're going to go and like turn things off. Like we'll turn lights off because all your guys' booths have arm lights on them. A lot of you guys have TVs. If you have other stuff that you've plugged in, like if you left a laptop, we'll take that and store it and then bring it back in the morning so it doesn't walk away. So yeah, there's continuous power so that when you get there in the morning, you can turn your TVs and plug in and it's back on. So yeah, technically it's on overnight, but we will be going around and just turning things off. Like we have a whole team of like pixie dust people, as I call them, that will be going around checking. They'll clean your booth overnight. I know there's like waste bins and stuff. So, you know, they'll clean out the rubbish. They'll make sure the TVs are off. They vacuum overnight so that your booth's nice and clean in the morning. So yeah, not to worry there. It'll still be as pristine as it would be inside, just on the outside. So good question. Cool. Is there a deadline for discount codes? There's not. So your customers can really register until the last moment. No deadline there. Obviously, they just need to make sure they bring their vaccine card and their proof of negative COVID test with them. What's the earliest that swag can get to shipping? So let me go back to shipping. I know it's a little confusing. So if you are shipping something between now and annual, it does need to go here if you're shipping it in this time frame. The second option to ship directly to SaaStr Annual has to get there after this date. If it gets there before this date, they will refuse it. So just, I don't think you guys want your swag to get lost. Like, yes, Jennifer, yes. So yeah. Starting at 11 a.m. September 26th, which is like the Sunday of load in for SaaStr Annual, that's when you can have your stuff arrive directly at the facility. It cannot arrive before then, or the San Mateo Center will turn it away. So again, that's why it's a good option to ship to Proven's Warehouse if you think it's going to get there now. Again, this is if you're bringing a fair amount of stuff that can't get shipped to something like your hotel. That's maybe a little bit easier. It's just one of the venue rules that we have.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. So if you wanted to get there early, option one is going to be your best choice.
Yep. Exactly. Jennifer, if you know how much you're shipping, just reach out to Sponsor Success because they can put you in touch with Freeman, just depending on what you're trying to get. I don't know. Sorry, I'm not sure. I see even more questions. I'm not sure what you're trying to get to annual. So depending on what it is, they can give you a more clarified answer than I can without knowing what it is. Cool. Any other questions?
Alexis asks, do you need a BOL to ship to the warehouse, or can we use UPS or FedEx?
You can do UPS or FedEx if you guys go into the exhibitor services kit. There's a PDF version of it here. There are certain shipping labels you need to put on them, and you do need to get the weight from, UPS or FedEx. So yeah, you can definitely UPS or FedEx to Freeman. So you don't need a BOL. Good question. Sounds like you guys are shipping a lot of swag.
Yeah, shipping swag.
Shipping swag. Alrighty, cool. I think we've hit all the questions unless there are any others. So thanks everyone for joining. Thanks for all the great questions. I know a lot of people have the same questions, so we like to do these every week. There's like 50 of you on this webinar. That's a fair amount of people. Thanks for joining. We will send the full PDF. There's a lot of reminders in the PDF we just didn't touch on because we've chatted about them a lot. So if you have a specific question after you take a look at the follow-ups, again, just reach out to Clayton and his team at Sponsor Success. And we'll be able to help you out. And in the meantime, do register your teams and get everyone excited to come to SaaStr Annual because yeah, it's happening, folks.
It's happening.
It's happening. All right.